Hello, it's Anthony here and welcome to Property MetriX. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a very key professional service that you're likely to engage with if you are purchasing a property as a first-time buyer, and that is a mortgage broker. So if you're a first-time buyer and you are not making a cash purchase, you will be using a mortgage to assist with the purchase of your property. It's very likely you will speak to a mortgage broker at some point during this process, because a mortgage broker is a person that will get you access to the mortgage funds you need to complete the transaction. So what I'm about to share with you is some very important information that you should be aware of. Get to just know these services a bit more and get to understand what's likely to happen when you are purchasing the first property. So what is a mortgage broker? So a mortgage broker is the person or company that you use to get a mortgage from. So effectively, they give you access to the capital you need to complete your transaction. So if you were looking to buy a property and it's say £200,000 and you had a 10% deposit, so that's £20,000, you need £180,000 to complete that transaction. You need a £180,000 mortgage. So the mortgage broker is a person who you speak to, give your details, your income, your expenses, and they would make an assessment on your affordability and what you can borrow, and will recommend suitable mortgage products to fit your needs. So I hope that's a good general understanding of what a mortgage broker is, i.e. the person or company that you use to get access to your mortgage product to complete your property purchase. One thing that's important to note though is that there are typically two types of mortgage brokers. So you have a mortgage broker who works directly for a lender or a bank, typically called mortgage advisor or mortgage and protection advisors. And you have independent brokers who work for themselves or as a private company or for a smaller company. They are typically called mortgage brokers or broker for short. But effectively they do the same thing. They get you access to the funds you need to complete your purchase. So what is the difference between a lender's mortgage broker and an independent mortgage broker? Well, it's quite a key difference actually, and something that you should be aware of. So if you are purchasing your property and you're going directly through your lender, just know that the mortgage advisor you speak to can only provide you mortgage products from that particular lender. So they can only show you the mortgage products that lender provides. Whereas if you went to an independent broker, they have access to something called the whole market. So they can compare different products, different rates from all different lenders. So let's just use an example of this. So let's say if you was going to purchase your property and you're looking to get your mortgage from Halifax. Well, if you went directly to Halifax and booked your meeting with your mortgage advisor through Halifax, when you speak to that mortgage advisor, they can only offer you products that Halifax offers. You can only see Halifax mortgage products. They may not be the best mortgage product on the market, may not have the cheapest rate, might not have the most competitive product fee, but they can only offer you what Halifax provides because they work for that lender. Whereas if you went to an independent mortgage broker, they can search a whole market. So they can show you products from Halifax, from Santander, from HSBC, from Lloyds, giving you the best opportunity to find the cheapest or the best product. However, there's something that you should bear in mind, and that is there's costs involved with an independent broker. So if you're using the independent broker, typically you have to pay a fee for these independent brokers, and these fees range from anywhere between £500 to £1,000. Whereas a broker who works directly for a lender typically provide their services for free. You don't pay anything for that service. So if you went directly to Halifax, for example, and you went to get your mortgage direct through Halifax, then you wouldn't pay any money for that broker to arrange a mortgage for you. But if you went to an independent broker from an independent smaller company, they will charge a fee for their services, because unlike the broker who works for Halifax who gets paid by Halifax a salary, the independent broker is a small or private business who obviously need to sell you a service to make money. So but what I find from experience is typically mortgage brokers cost between £500 to £1,000. You might have a few that cost a bit more, especially in the south of the country, closer to London, but typically they charge about £500 to £1,000 for their fees. And what does these fees involve? Well, they just will search the market for you and complete your mortgage application. One key thing to note though is some mortgage brokers charge differently. Some charge on application. So the minute they submit your application, they want their fee up front. I don't really recommend doing it that way. And some charge you after you have received a mortgage offer. So once they submit your application and the mortgage offers come back, that's when they ask for a fee. For me, that's a much better model, because from experience and speaking to people who have paid their fee up front, after you pay your fee, there's no guarantee you get a good service after that. But if the fee isn't paid until the service is complete, then it's very likely you're going to have a good service throughout the application process. So bear that in mind, that if you're being asked to pay up front for your fee, maybe see if you can negotiate to pay that fee after the mortgage offer has been received. Because as you can imagine, there are lots of good brokers, but there are some who, once you've paid your money and that's basically it. No more communication, you're chasing, you're not hearing anything back. And with everything in business, typically pay after the service has been done, not before the service has been completed. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of a mortgage broker, what a mortgage broker is, what they charge, what they don't charge, and how the service works. So just to summarize. So a mortgage broker is a person or company who you would use to apply for your mortgage or get you the mortgage you need to fund your purchase. There are typically two types of brokers. There are brokers who work directly for a bank or lender, typically called mortgage advisors or mortgage and protection advisors, or brokers who work independently for themselves or for a smaller company who are typically called mortgage brokers or broker for short. Mortgage brokers who work directly for a company, so mortgage advisors, typically are free because they get paid by their respective lender. But mortgage brokers who work independently or smaller companies charge a fee for their service, and that's typically between £500 to £1,000, but it can be more in different parts of the country. Another key point I should note: some independent brokers are actually free. They don't charge for their services. That's because they are paid by the lenders. So just an example of it. So there are mortgage brokers who are independent that are also free, but how it works is when you take out a mortgage with that broker, the bank pays them a commission for bringing you to them effectively. So, and why would the bank do that? Because if you're taking out a mortgage is typically worth 100, 200, 300,000 pound plus to a bank. So if they pay a commission of £1,000, £2,000 to a mortgage broker, that's great. You're paying £2,000 to make £300,000. That's amazing. So banks are willing to pay quite sizable commissions for mortgages. And another thing I should also note about brokers who work directly for a bank, so mortgage advisors, with residential properties, they can advise on a mortgage or can give you advice on what kind of mortgage products you can choose. But if you're purchasing a buy-to-let as a first-time purchase, or buy-to-lets in general, mortgage advisors, so who work for banks or lenders directly, cannot give you a mortgage advice because these are not regulated products. So I hope that is very useful information. In the next video, I might just break down some numbers to show you the kind of mortgage broker process from a financial perspective, to just give you a broader view on how things work. So I hope you found that video very informative and very useful, fits your needs.